Whatever you do, don't try and master the guitar. Let me explain, and forgive me because I'm going to step up on my soapbox here for a second and go on a bit of a rant. I think mastering the guitar is a facade. I think it's something that will lead you down a very dark road and ultimately leave you very frustrated trying to play and master the guitar. With all the technology available, with all the information available at our fingertips in mere seconds, there seems to be this large movement towards mastery. And this notion that in a 10-step process you can master the guitar, or with this course or that course you can master the guitar. And I think this is an indicator of a way bigger problem in that we are focusing on this end goal where we'll eventually have fun, but not having fun in the meantime. That's a problem, because the whole reason I got into guitar, and probably you too, was to have fun. I mean, I didn't go guitar shopping for my first guitar and just anguish over, the Martin HD35 and the Martin HD28, and finally pick it out a Martin HD35 to be miserable with it. I want to have fun every single time I pick up the guitar. I want to enjoy it every single time I pick it up to play or practice or show it to somebody. And if you focus on mastery, you just plain won't, because nothing will ever be good enough. And that's a really crummy feeling. So instead of focusing on mastery, I want you to shift your perspective and try and enjoy the guitar every single time you pick it up. But how do you do that? Because it seems like an easy concept, but very quickly you can fall into one of those ruts where you're just kind of bummed out and you feel like you're not getting any better. So I want to bring awareness to my 3 pillars of living the ultimate guitar dream life. Now, I know the title sounds a little lofty. It sounds a little bit fantastical, if you will. But really, truly, living the acoustic life, having your ultimate guitar dream life, is something that you can have right now if you follow these 3 pillars. Well, let me go into some details here. So let's start with pillar number 1, priming your time. This consists of 2 very distinct things that will help you out in feeling daily progress and ultimately daily fun with your guitar. Number 1, you want to set an intention. Know what you're going to work on before you sit down with your guitar. This will help maximize your practice session and cut down on the decision-making you have to go through while you have your guitar in your lap. Once you even think about practicing, before you go to your chair, your favorite chair, your guitar cave, or whatever the case may be, know what you're going to work on so you don't waste any time once you get there, because we all know what can happen. We go down the black hole of the YouTube or internet or anything. Pretty soon you're watching cats being scared of cucumbers. The second part of priming your time is to strive to practice in the same time, in the same place. Okay, this is all about habit building here, and this is something that's really, truly necessary to making the guitar fun. You don't want to think about practicing your guitar all day long. You just want to automatically do it. And practicing at the same time in the same place will help develop that habit. I like to draw the parallel of brushing your teeth. I don't walk around all day thinking, gosh, when am I going to brush my teeth? I got to fit that teeth brushing in. It's really important. I don't think that. It's a habit. I do it at the same time every morning and every night. I have good hygiene. But I want you to do the same thing with your guitar. If you do the same time and same place, then pretty soon it's not a thought. It's just an action that you unconsciously execute. So that's what priming your time means. The next piece here is practicing with purpose, and there's 3 crucial components to this. Number 1, you want to have a minimum time commitment. Okay, instead of an unrealistic maximum time, you want a realistic minimum time commitment. I don't want you bummed because you couldn't practice for an hour a day. I want you excited that you practiced for your minimum time commitment of 10 minutes. And then if you went beyond that, that's all frosting on top and cherries and all the other fixins, right? So if you try and practice for an hour and you never make that hour, you're going to start to bring this negativity into your practice. And I don't want that. I want you to feel good that you set out to practice 10 minutes and you did it with all the stresses of life. So minimum time commitment is so very important. And the second piece of practicing with purpose is dividing your time accordingly. I like to divide my practice session, however long it may be, into 3 distinct categories. The first part, I like to warm up, the first third. I like to warm up, get my fingers talking to one another, kind of get a feel for the guitar so that when I go to part 2 of my practice, which is working on the intention that I set out for that practice session, I feel like I'm ready to tackle something that's new and difficult. And then the last piece of dividing your time, my last third of the practice session, is really dedicated to free time. And I say this because we need that time to almost decompress. You warm up, you work on something that's new, that's difficult, and then you just kind of have free time. You can noodle, you can work on, whatever inspires you at that moment, be it writing a song or maybe working on a song that you knew way back when, and you're just trying to bring it back in the fold. So that's what it means to divide your time. And the last piece of practicing with a purpose is to end your practice on a high note. This is critical. This is critical for maintaining a positive mental attitude for practice and also maintaining this feeling like you're progressing every single time you pick up the guitar. Let me give you an example. When I used to practice, I would practice a certain lick or whatever I was working on, and I would eventually get it. And I would feel really good about it, but then I'd keep practicing, and I'd try to throw new things in, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I can take on the world. I'll just keep practicing more and more and more. Well, pretty soon I start making mistakes. Pretty soon I start practicing those mistakes, and pretty soon what was a good practice session turned into kind of a train wreck in a way. So I urge you to end on a high note. This means once you feel like you've gotten what your intention was for the day, put your guitar in the case and call it good. This is two distinct things. Number one, again, it maintains that positive mental attitude because you feel good about what you just accomplished. Number two, it allows you to have that feeling of, I cannot wait to pick up the guitar tomorrow because every time I pick up the guitar, I feel like I'm making progress. That's how important it is to end on a high note. It seems like a simple principle. It's very hard to do, but I challenge you to start integrating that into your practice routine because you'll be amazed at the dividends that it pays. The last pillar, which is really important, is reflection and evaluation. It's so important to look back and say, you know what? I'm progressing. I'm doing really good. Because as guitarists, as a guitar geek, I'm guilty of this as well. We start looking way down the road and think about the things that we need to be doing, that we should be doing, that we want to get better at, the next best song, the next best technique, you name it. We're always looking forward. You need to look back and pat yourself on the back and say, gosh, I've been doing really good. That F chord that's been giving me problems, I finally got it. I need to celebrate that. So there's 3 steps in reflection and evaluation. Number 1, celebrate your small wins. Look back and take one thing that you did good, one thing that you improved upon, and just take a second and recognize that. Write it down. Keep a journal if you want to. The second piece of reflection and evaluation is finding opportunities for improvement. Maybe you were working with your flat pick and you thought, holy smokes, the flat pick is finally not spinning in my hand. It feels amazing. But your timing was a little bit wonky. It wasn't great. Cool, you have your small win. You held the flat pick great. But you found an opportunity for improvement, and that is your timing, which ultimately sets your intention for the next practice session, which is really cool. This is a cyclical process. And of course, the last piece of reflection and evaluation is to repeat the whole cycle. So by finding your opportunity of improvement, you've then set your intention, which starts the cycle all over again. So again, underscore, exclamation point, I don't want you to try and master the guitar. I want you to focus on having fun every day. You're going to get better, it's going to be fun, and you won't delay that gratification. Now, I've given you these 3 pillars, and you're probably thinking, this is really great philosophy, but how do I actually bring this into my acoustic guitar world? How do I make my ultimate guitar dream life? Well, I have a 5-day acoustic guitar practice challenge that you can implement these pillars immediately. What it is you get a brand new exercise delivered to your email every day for 5 days, pulled from the 5 essential categories of guitar improvement. And the easy thing is, you can sign up right here, right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description or here in this video, enter your email address, and you could be doing your first exercise in a mere 10 seconds. Now, this is going to help you boost your practice habit. It's going to pull you out of a guitar rut, and it's going to expose you to brand new techniques that you can add to your playing nearly immediately, all the while, again, integrating those 3 pillars of living your ultimate guitar dream life. So I encourage you to sign up for the 5-day acoustic guitar practice challenge, and I can't wait to see you on those lessons. Cheers.